Hi guys, and welcome back to Conversations with Kanyamuzi. Yes, these are the faces for the month. That's it. That's it. My name is Lisa Kanyamuzi Raboni. Go ahead and follow me on my social media as well as Conversations with Kanyamuzi. Before we give you that gist, first subscribe, my dear. Subscribe,
Yes.
okay? All right. Shout out to Net Studios for making sure we look good. Goldman's Luxury for making sure we sit right. And as usual, the closet who's gonna plug you with all your outfits from formal to the club to a good picnic, okay? All right, Kale. Now we set this side.
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Tracy I. Yeah, that's all.
That's all. Our friend.
Okay, friend. Again, the content creators.
I am Sharon and a content creator.
Yeah. I'm not a content creator, guys.
Yeah.
You don't notice. Anyway, so we are talking mainly about on the job through the episodes. The book launch is August 7th. Keep noted, keep in mind. And we just want to dissect a couple of chapters in case you've not yet got the book, but also to tell you when I can get the book. My Hero Books is our distributor, but I'm coming to Nairobi and I'm coming to Kigali, inshallah. All right? Yes. So the second section in the book is around sexual violence or sexual experiences of young women, not positive ones, unfortunately. And we do want to talk about one of the essays that I wrote in the book. So it has essays, articles, interviews, and poems. And the one we're talking about is Don't Cheapen Yourself, a conversation on sexuality. So for a lot of people, when young women are sexually active, they're cheap, Mm-hmm. So they are, that connotation. I don't think YouTube allows me to say a lot of things, but you do know the connotations come around women who have loud, positive sexual experiences. And there's this whole concept around lingerie, for example, or purchasing toys, or just saying, me as me, I like to kiss. I can't even say kiss. I can't even say that word. There's always, a thought process around that. And I do want to ask, what were your experiences individually when it comes to being judged, shamed, or the thoughts around you being a sexual being?
I think for me, growing up, I was, with societal norms that women don't really open up about their sexual experiences. So I was really protective of myself. I didn't really divulge that much, even to my sisters. I think there was one night where, it was dark, lights were out. So I was under the covers and my sister asked me, have you had sex before? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, did you enjoy it? I was like, I think so. And then I asked her, have you? And then she was like, yes, I have. But the same question, but that was the end of that was the first time I ever openly.
Awkward.
It was awkward. It was so awkward.
Whenever I talk about it with Laura, she's like, Lisa, get on me.
What's this thing why can't we be vulnerable with just our family members, but we're open to sharing these experiences with our friends? And I feel those your family are the closest to you, and I feel they would understand you more. So after that, we've never really, and actually we've never the next day it happened we didn't talk about it. I know you did something, even me I did something, and that was it. Yeah, so it was a bit strange, but like I said, quite protective, and I still don't open up that much, but I'm trying to be more liberal and share my experience. Maybe there's something new I have learned, and I also want you to try it. Spice up.
I think for me, I started to see myself as a sexual being when I was really young. And I think it came from the sexualization of other people. I didn't know I was a sexual being until other people pointed it out. So when I turned 14, I was in my S2. So I was 13 in S1. We go for third term holidays, and then we come back. Me, I was not seeing myself growing, right? And even people at home, I think because they would see me every day, it was normal. And then we get to S2, and I'm trying on my school skirt, and it's a bit tighter. All of us know those S1 skirts. The skirt is up to this end, big shirt, so my shirt and my skirt are a bit tighter. But I'm maybe I've just gained weight. And then I get to school, and the like everyone, both boys and girls, are pointing out how the boobs have come out, the hips have expanded, like, and people were not seeing it as weight gain.
Yeah.
They were saying, oh, Tracy, you look good, like, now you look sexy, and then you start getting advances from boys in your class, but also boys from other classes who didn't see you in S1. Yes. So for me, I then started to see myself as a sexual being. I'm like, okay, there's this other side to who I am. But I'm grateful that from a very young age, I've had a good relationship with my body.
Yeah.
So despite the many changes that have happened to it, I gain weight, I lose weight, I've never had an uncomfortable relationship with it, at least myself. But it's other people who is, Ugandans, they get you,
unsolicited weight.
Some money. Unsolicited weight questions. So for me, those are just the outside voices. But because I think I loved my body, those voices didn't hold me.
Weight, yeah.
And like Sharon also, despite me being comfortable in my body, and in turn being comfortable in my sexuality and knowing my body as a sexual body, just talking about it with, for instance, family, my siblings, or even my parents, yet we are very close, was a bit difficult, and I think it still is.
Yeah.
Because of very many reasons, I think. Maybe I don't even know some of them, but talking about it with friends, it's so easy for me.
Yeah.
Like, one thing about me,
she's gonna tell you.
talking to my friends about sexuality and pleasure and just enjoying your body as a woman is so easy for me with my friends. Whereas within a family setup, it's just a bit more difficult. But it's easy for me to write about it. It's easy for me to talk to my friends about it. But I don't know why it's not easy for me to talk to my family about it. I just don't know why.
It is a thing.
I think it's a way of being judged.
It's hard. Yeah.
Also your family holds you as like this innocent being. She's a baby, things like that. You know how you're the first one,
right? Like the up on the shoulder.
Like Lisa says, we're all virgins.
We're all virgin. VNJIN. Not And then what I picked up from both our conversations and even internally, like there's a lot, we were raised in very conservative. We're raised in a very conservative society when it comes to Uganda, quote unquote, conservative, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But then also there's also been a lot of conditioning, either culturally, traditionally, religiously, depending on how you grew up, when it comes to you enjoying coitus. Like you're just saying, me as me, this is, or wanting to explore, or So what do you think made you personally more open-minded? Because personally, like, body count, like, when I get first my body count. So, like, what made you open-minded to leave the shame yourself that might have been internal and just allow yourself to, like, I'm not going to die, especially as a woman? Because I guess points, chicks, hey.
Yeah.
So,
do you know, I think for me, it's unlearning the conditioning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I come from a conservative family. My family is very open-minded and liberal, but like all African families, we are conditioned.
Yeah.
So the outside, like your small family could be liberal, but you don't exist as a nuclear family in Africa. So those outside voices then bring in the conditioning. So I think that's also where not having conversations on sex in a family setting comes from.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the things that helped me step into my sexuality is knowing that it's okay to talk about sex with your friends. We just recently, by the way, started talking about sex with my friends. Before it was a hush topic, like, I know what you're doing, you also know what I'm doing, but we're not going to talk about it.
It's not about that.
And you know, I like adulting, I like growth, because then I feel like you're more open-minded. You easily speak up about your experiences. We're having a conversation with my friends around sexual violence, and I told them, guys, even you starting with no, but proceeding to eventually say yes, is not okay. And they were like, if then that's sexual violence, like, then I have had so many sexual violence experiences. But you get, like, imagine if we hadn't had that conversation.
You wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know.
That if it's not a yes upright,
then it's not okay.
You've coerced me into the conversation.
Exactly. But also, I think being a feminist and engaging with different topics around feminism, and not just feminist leadership, but also thinking about what pleasure looks like for women outside the male gaze. What does pleasure look like for myself has helped me then be more open to how I embrace and experience sexuality, and also how I talk about it. So yeah, but also being around open-minded people helps you be open-minded,
like,
because no one is going
the
to
first
judge
conversation
me.
is gasp. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So if you're around people who actually allow you to be yourself, then it's so easy to talk about anything under the sun, including issues of sexuality, issues of pleasure. Yeah. So that's that.
When you mentioned the whole body count thing, I feel like that is one of the things that conditions women
Yeah.
not to open up about their sexuality. And there was a certain point where I was keeping count, but now I'm like, why am I keeping count?
Is there a handling form?
Exactly, like what's the point? And like in some way it starts making you feel like you're filthy, when they say you're a slut. Women, oh my god, trying to keep the conversation PG. Like all those weird naming of women that you're open to having sex, you're enjoying. Yes.
The standard number is 3.
So like even when at the point when I stopped counting, I was like, you know what, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm just enjoying sex. I'm doing this for me. I should stop living for other people and be like comfortable in my skin, enjoying. So like the whole, even like right now, if someone asks you your body count, I'm like, what do you want to do with that information? Are you going to go like in the next couple of days to match up the number of people?
And they always ask it not for any other reason but to judge you.
Exactly.
Yes, to see you're so loose. Or some guys will even ask to see what chance they stand with sleeping with you, because they think the higher your body count, the easier it is for you to sleep with them.
Which is like friends. Get in line.
But also, I saw something on Twitter recently. Someone, I won't mention their name, but they cut their hair, so they said body count has really that was so funny to me, but like that's also my mindset. Like whenever
I shower,
new phase in my life, the body count has reset to 0. So I actually don't know the number.
Whenever I shower.
Oh my god.
You might know things I don't know about me.
Yeah, I also wanted to say something about how virginity is looked at.
Yes,
especially women's
that's
virginity.
That's the next,
in comparison with men's virginity. If a man is a virgin,
it's taboo. Like what?
It's taboo. You're teased by your fellow men, but also other women are like, probably you're not good at sex.
Also, when you meet a guy and he says I'm a virgin, like,
it's like so strange. Like what?
Yeah, but and then for women, if you're a virgin, then you're this white dove, nice girl. And I always say, what is a good girl and what is a bad girl? Like, the whole conversation around virginity then makes us very conservative to how we share around how we experience pleasure.
Exactly.
Actually, most of us don't even experience pleasure, because you're like, if I ask him to touch me this way, then it's going to be like, this girl has been around.
So you're
like, let me let him do
whatever he's doing.
Because if you give direction, then it's like, this girl must be a pro. How does she know that when I touch there, it's going to do this? You get so the whole purity politics and purity culture, because most of us in Africa have grown, like if you're a virgin, those are the good girls. The girls who have had sex, whether it was consensual or not, those are the bad girls. I mean, right now people are even cancelled for being sexually abused. Like for you no longer.
And I think that also taps into the fact that when you are the shame that's felt, or like the taintedness that is given to people who face sexual violence and sexual abuse, because and I remember this from the feminist training we did, like they asked us, do you truly believe, guys, I can't say that thing because I don't know if I'm allowed, is where your value is as a woman? Do you, like, your sexual organ, is where your value is derived from as a woman? So I think as we wrap this up, I'd like for us to remember that if your conditioning is showing up, if you're the way you think, or you've wanted to open up your mind, do you truly believe that's where your value is? Or sit down and have an introspection and find value in things. It's not that. You're not just a hole in your body, guys. Okay. Yeah. What would you say? What would your parting remarks be?
My parting remarks.
So I want to go open-minded.
First of all, allow yourself to journey. Where I'll speak for myself, where I'm at now with how I express my sexuality and how I enjoy pleasure is not where I was even 5 years ago. So allow yourself to journey. Read about pleasure. Read about how other women are experiencing both pleasure in heterosexual situations and also in homosexual situations. I hope YouTube doesn't cut that out.
I hope you
But
landed.
you get that. Like, how do women experience pleasure? Women who, experience pleasure with men and women who experience pleasure with other genders. So read, have conversation. Also have conversations with your friends. Talk about these things, because you could be having questions about something. Someone is doing something to you that's not right, but because you're quiet about it, you're going to keep suffering in silence. So it might be difficult to sit down with your mom and start the conversation. I feel like it's a bit easier to do it with your friend. And also, as friends, we need to create safe spaces for each other, so someone can easily come and open
also
up
just
to you.
share, like, for example, that there are tips that you just didn't know, not even for like the pleasure part of it, but like your health. For example, going to pee right after, like, so bacteria doesn't sit and you don't get a UTI. You get.
Yeah, and also take your health seriously, guys. Use protection. Always make sure you get checked. Do things like a pap smear. Go and get your breasts checked, or you can do self-exams. Like, take care of your health, because it's really, really important.
Necessary. Yeah.
I feel like Tracy summarized everything.
Yeah.
Emphasis.
Our content creator class.
She says she's a friend to the content creators. But yes, emphasis on having conversations, like that is really important. The more you open up, the more you get out of this box that we have all grown up in of being conditioned, and how people always say that parents don't expect you to be having sex, and then after graduation they're like, where's the man, where's the child? Those things. So so being more open and having conversations is key.
I have this funny story before we finish. One of my fears of getting pregnant was other people knowing that I had sex. So I'd always be like, oh my gosh, I am not going to get pregnant because I don't want people to think like
the whole
that is
moving evidence.
moving evidence that you actually had sex. I'm like, but really? And of course, it's not like you don't just talk about sex all the time, but allow yourself to have those conversations, to start talking about it, and allow yourself to experience pleasure. As human beings, we are here for pleasure purposes.
Yeah. We don't come and die. Don't come
Yes.
and die here,
Enjoyment.
right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching Conversation with King Mozi. You'll see I'm bringing people, which means that subscribing number must increase. So go ahead and subscribe. Shout out to the entire team. I know I haven't said Obanide, but like you guys know I miss Obanide. So there's obviously something somewhere. So
some title right here.
Alright. Go ahead and follow Sharon on her social media. We're gonna tag it down below. And my personal account is Kanye Mozi Raboni. Bye-bye.
Bye.